purpose is that we were restoring our local river resources by gathering old tires to recycle, upcycle, and repurpose into rubber mulch for the beautification of our school playground and local community gardens. At the same time, we were revitalizing our economy, improving public health through recycling and recreation. The standards that were addressed were the English language arts standards, math standards, next generation science standards, community involvement, and much technology integration. The STEM, this is a STEM project because it incorporates all venues of science, technology, engineering, and math. And as I pointed out, and I've color-coded each box that goes with what we did, students learned things about when they did their water sampling, parts per million, something I never knew anything about, and things like that. The project progression, of course, went from me writing a grant and receiving 2 of those. We did the student surveys. We developed an action plan. We attended meetings. Students used email to do community partnerships and things like that. And this was the actual one where it shows first we did a simulation of what they were going to do in the real world with this project. And I really wish we could do this with sound. But these students are just saying, you know, we're students. There's their t-shirts. This little boy is out in our creek with his gear on. He has rubber boots too. He's doing water sampling. And they go and test the mineral hardness. They did that right in the classroom. So a lot of our things took place in the classroom as well as in the field. This was an after-school program. And of course, students are reading this off. So I'm glad we have words there. And we talked about water runoff and things like that. And flooding was one of the big issues that we had here lately that caused us a lot of problems. This is the overflow drain behind our school where they have a lot of the renovations going on. Here they're testing for the hardness from the sample. It's from an abandoned coal mine behind our school. This student is using the Compass app on his iPhone to locate a debris field of tires which is in the creek in front of our school. And he takes the coordinates from that and he uploads that to Google Earth. And it will show him exactly, printing out a map of those coordinates of where they are. So that's a lot of technology used there. The students gathered 100 tires back in September and they get $5 per tire. Now they were promised this $5 from the gentleman who owns the Airboat that took us on it. And his grant hasn't come through yet. But the monies are due us, so we'll get those monies eventually and put them in a stockpile at school. These students are using their iPads to record data from, we're at school doing that. This is a student model that they built with craft kits of the Airboat that they go on. This is another model students created using Legos. I have the Airboat right here that a student created. This is another creation telling about how they take the tires and they are repurposed and things to use for playground mulch. There's some of the conditions that we have on rainy days that create problems for us, but this is what we eventually want to get to. This is the S.T.A.R.S Showcase we were at, and that's going very fast. The movie's not so fast. This is a website they created. And they have a QR code that they created that goes straight to the website, telling about their whole project. This is a person from Google that they met and talked with. He loved the project and wanted to hear more about it and actually told us to bring it back next year and develop it and build on it. That's their trophy. You can see in the hands of the little boy there. And that's at our state championship. So we know it's a pretty good project. And we're going to develop it and go places with it. It just takes a lot of time. This is, of course, one of the problems with the flooding because there's like 4 foot of mud and debris now where we would have taken the Airboat. And we were going to go at the end of April. That was going to be our first official run. really wish we had sound because there's a movie that it's a continued movie after this part. There's the kayak. That is not me. That hopefully, you know, after restoring the river, with some of the grant monies, we're going to work with our neighboring county and state, Mingo County, West Virginia, to put, you know, the docks and that's all in place. You know, it's just a matter of getting on the river and doing what we have to do. So this is the video. This is the actual movie. And that's the boat ramp, which is about maybe not even 4 miles from our school. And this is where we actually would go out and meet the airboat to go out on the river. These are actual photos taken by students of our river, and it's beautiful. I have never been on the river, but I did go once. We were in the Appalachian News Express. Our story was featured on in the Appalachian News Express Whitewater section. And we've talked about it to Southern West Virginia Community College. We talked to a group of a panel of people. I've taken students to that. There's some tires right there located. A lot of the work, you know, has been at our school because obviously we've not been able to get on the river as much as we had planned. And then he's our solution. That's our airboat driver. And the students call him by first name. And then this is, you know, actually when we're on the airboat. And they're using their, you know, as I said, their iPads and things like that. And this is the tire recycling, the tires that were collected. And the students also engineered a tool out of rebar that they could pull the tires out of the river with for safety purposes because they don't want to reach into the river. There could be snakes in it, you know, and things like that. That's where we're hoping to get, you know, getting paddle boats and kayaks, as I said, onto the river and building ramps and things like that. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of math involved in this project. At some points I thought, wow, we bit off a little bit more than we chewed, you know, but we didn't because it just came to fruition and it came to life and it was like just a rebirth, you know, and they're all so excited about it. And you could tell that if you could hear the sound, but, you know, unfortunately, and that's our playground now, but we have, you know, just regular mulch, wood chip mulch, which causes a few problems, you know, that being one with the water settling and a lot of mosquitoes and things like that, and the wood chip splinters, you know, that children get. And so we're hoping to get to a rubber mulch surface. Okay, and that is it. Thank you.